Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Johanna, how you doing? I see you. Guys, this is our good vibe, love tribe going on here. Hey, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Guys, you guys remember Monday, we went in. We went in on the 5 top needs of men. And y'all know I went in that video and I promised you guys that today we will go in on the men because I know y'all think that I'm always getting on women. I did feel that this one had to be a little equal because I do feel like in relationships, right? If both parties try to offer at least a little bit of what the other party needs, that we would have better, more evolved, and conducive relationships. Okay? So, listen, when you come in, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you think for a second that this video is helping you, make sure that you share this video with your friends. Okay? I see the numbers going up. I see you guys in the chat. So, I don't want to make this take longer than it should tonight because I don't how I am. I don't like to keep you guys all night, okay? I like to make sure that you guys are in here and get enough pertinent information where I am not talking to you all night and then you lose your attention span, okay? So tonight, our topic is being a husband is a very high call. Do not offer a woman a ring unless you are ready. Guys, got it? So remember, I said that I was going to have a special guest for you guys. But the first thing I want to just say, going forward, you guys know I always have my notes. You guys know, never going to come without my notes. So what I wanted to bring forth first is this position for a man is not to be taken lightly. The same way that I feel a position of a wife is not to be taken lightly. I feel like it is a call. I feel like there is a gift to it. And I feel like you should treat it like any other position in your life. It is a position and it is a role. All right. So when a man takes on, hey, girl, finally. When a man takes on a wife, he takes on a very important role in her life. His job is to be the leading energy. You guys, we know this. And, we talk about what our energy is supposed to be. So, without any further ado, I am going to bring none other than my own husband, Mr. T.W. Dawson, on to help me out with this discussion, y'all. Because, I don't believe that women speak to men. You guys know I talk to y'all. But when it comes to the men, I really think that they need to hear things from men. When we say it, it's like, but I really think that a man needs to be able to kind of bring it home. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. T.W. Dawson into the studio. Let me mute myself so he can introduce himself.
Hello. All right. This is pretty exciting. I got a little reverb back here.
You do? Am I muted? No, I'm not. There I am.
All right. How does that sound? You guys can hear me? All right. That's good. Well, listen, I'm excited. I don't know who I'm talking to. My hope is that there's women up here that have listened to Tanisha for some time, and they're really understanding what's going on in society and how society is pushing women towards a certain type of energy. And as opposed to that, what's happening with the men is that we're kind of balancing ourselves off based on what's happening with the women. See, one thing's for sure. Men haven't changed. And I'm sure she said this already. Women have changed so much. And with anything, when things start to change, you have to adjust. And some men have fallen into this category that I want to talk about. Some men have subscribed or just subdued themselves to what the energy is. And I think it's very unhealthy in relationships. So by the way, let me just give you a little background of me. I usually introduce myself. I'm a public speaker, by the way, so I usually introduce myself as this. I'm T.W. Dawson. I'm 47 years old, I think. Yeah, I just turned 47, and I've never worked for another human being in my life. And the reason why I say that in this position is because I'm going to give credence to what my initial plan was when I decided to find a wife. Because I already had goals, I already had things that I wanted to do, and as a young man, you have to know that. So if I may start this off, the first thing, if I'm talking to men, and again, as I was mentioning earlier, I'm speaking to men through the women. So it's up to you to get this message to the man. All right. So the first thing before we even get started, the question has to be, why do you want a wife? That's the first question. What is the purpose of having a wife? If you don't understand that, then you go into the whole situation wrong. And nowadays, having a wife is so much different than it was years past. Right now, it's kind of like a trendy thing. Oh, I'm going to get married. Why? First of all, we're not being bred as husbands, nor are women being bred as wives, but we're still constrained to this institutional thing called marriage. It's still a goal for most people in their lives to get married with no formal training, with no preparation. But we look at the statistics that 60 to 70% are getting divorced. So there's an issue here. And it's an issue that goes further back than your personal issue, his personal issue. It's all goes about where society has put us in, and basically we've been lied to. We haven't been told the truth. We haven't been taught right. So with that being said, the first thing that and I don't know how we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and forth because I can just go and go and go. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass it back on to you. That's my foundation of where I want to start. And then from there, I'll let you go. All right.
All right, babe. I had to mute myself, so I couldn't really talk. But I see you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, like the video when you come in, and please subscribe. So, babe, what I wanted to talk about first was what I initially led with, which is when a man takes on a wife, he takes on a very important role, and his job is to be the leading energy in that home. So, can you speak to that? How he's the protector and the provider, and how it is his job to create the legacy for those that are going to succeed him in the family afterward. I mean,
Okay. Well, again, going back to my initial statement, he has to understand why he wants a wife. And the first number one reason for anything, no matter what, it's the basic of why you should have a wife as a man. I'm speaking to a man, is to provide a womb for your seed. Your seed is what you marry for. So number one, you have to understand that you don't get a wife so that she can help you out. You don't get a wife so you can have sex, because in most cases, women, when they get married, they don't have sex. But that's a whole other story. I'm sure she touched on that already. But for the most part, is that the purpose of marrying a woman is to say that this is the person that I want to bring my seed into the world. This is the person who I trust based on her values, based on her principles, based on the things that she has shown me, based on what her parents have raised her to be, and what she's able to accomplish thus far as I'm taking this woman on. This is the person that I trust to raise my seed in the image of me. So having said that, when I was a young man, over 15 years ago, when I decided that I wanted to get married, I had some criterias that I was looking for in a woman before I could make that decision. And in no particular order, because I want to make this clear that it's no particular order, because I want the last one to be the point that I actually hit. The one thing was she had to have looks. I wanted somebody that's looks, look at her. Okay, check. Okay, number two, she had to be educated. And I'm not talking about school, college, or anything like that. She had to be educated in a way that she understands, that she's knowledgeable in certain things. Okay, why? And I used to say this all the time, and she was confessed to this. I do not want the fate of my empire to fall into the hands of someone who's incompetent. I used to say it all the time. So number one, she had to have a look. She had to keep herself healthy. She had to keep herself in shape. Why? Because I'm in shape. I am not going to be working my butt off And then she's sitting at home eating steak and cheese. Ooh, sorry, women, but this is supposed to be about the men. But let me just get back. So at the end of the day, she had to at least run track, at least have some type of athletic ability, because I know that once the babies start coming, it's going to be a tough ride. Okay, so that was number one, no particular order. And number two is that she had to have some type of education, because I could not leave the fate of my empire, which I am building, in the hands of someone incompetent. Very important. So this is what a man needs from a woman. Now, the last one, which is I believe is the most important one, and to my point is this. I needed a woman that possessed the ability to allow me to be me. That was important for me. Now listen, women, I needed a woman that possessed the ability. All right? It's important. You have to have that ability to allow a man to be who he is. Now, my point is, you, number one, as a man, need to know who you are. If you want a woman to allow you to be who you are, you have to know who you are. You have to be going somewhere. So again, you can't lead somebody without actually going somewhere. Any man that says he's a leader and doesn't have anybody following him is just taking a walk. All right? And there's so many men out here taking walks. They might be walking hand in hand, but you're still taking a walk because no one's following you, because you don't have a clear-cut vision of where you're going. That call of being the husband is no different than one day I call you sir and say, hey, listen, I'm starting a company. I need a CEO. Are you qualified to run this company? In most cases, most men are not. Because there's only a small percentage of people in the world that are CEO and is making that $500,000 a year or more. And really, really, really more. 10 to 15 to 20 to millions dollars a year in some CEO positions. It's a very small percentage of men that are doing that. And what that means is that there's a small percentage of men that are ready to lead. There's a small percentage of men that are willing to take on the day-to-day task of running a corporation. And guess what? A family is a corporation. All right? So now listen, now let me take it back some. And I'm talking to the men. There's not a man on this planet that's not competitive. He may have lost his competitive edge along the years, but it's not a man. Because think back when you were 12, 13, you're in the schoolyard. You would race. Every guy would race. And guess what? We would race over and over, even though we lost, thinking that the next time we run, we're going to win. But that's that competitive spirit. We always want to see who can jump the highest, who can run the fastest, who can yell the loudest, who can pick up the heaviest thing. That's our nature, being competitive. So all through our lives, we're trying to win. Being a husband is in some cases, your one opportunity to win, to be number one, to be the head of your corporation. It is the most important thing that you have in your life. Now, if you don't have a goal of saying, this is what I want, then you'll never be a good CEO of your family. You'll never do that. You won't. And I'm going to pass it on because I can go on and on, but I just want to, there's a lot here. And I'm not the type of person to do surface stuff. I go deep with stuff because, again, this is my life. This is what I had to learn. And if you know my wife, you know that we've gone up and we've gone down. We've done it a couple times just to see if we was right about it the first time. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm going to pass it to you, but I got some more to tell you.
All right, babe. That's so good. And I can't say they're probably like laughing because you sound exactly like me when I just said that the wife, remember last week, guys, I said that the wife is a role or position. It's no different than a CEO and then a COO. And then you got the employees and then are the kids. They got to do what everybody say. And so Natima says a family is run like a corporation, just a different set of goals and principles. Come on here. Okay. Natima, I agree wholeheartedly. And so there was something specific that you were saying. One, you said that a woman that you married had, and this goes back because we're going to go back to men and women a little bit, but you said that you needed someone that was good, that possessed the ability to allow you to be you. But then you also further said that you had to know who you were. And remember, y'all, you know, I expose myself on here. When I guys have told you, when I met my husband, he knew who he was, but then his life plan changed, and then that changed my life plan a little bit. And we had to come back together and realize that there were some things that had gotten thrown off in our relationship based on his plan, because he was the leader and I was the follower. And when his life was going this way, it was going to be perfect. But when his life went this way, it wasn't so much. And that's why we've been up and we've been down. But it is all about learning, growing, evolving. Remember, I said relationships are not in place for our happiness, y'all. The happiness comes, and I think you said this, Bay, when we were talking one day, with fighting and winning the small battles. Happiness comes when there's a situation that comes against you guys and you grow past it. You are at, well, I know for me, I'm at my happiest when there's a situation that should have, could have, or would have broken anybody else. And then it didn't break us, and we were able to move past that. So I want you to get into a little bit, because you touched on a lot. You said she had to allow you the ability for you to be you, but then you had to know who you were. But then you also said that a woman, you said something about a woman needing your help or a woman needing your assistance. Not sure if it was in the business part that you mentioned it in, but I want to kind of touch on that, because that's going on big in our society now, where men are gaining wives for help, and how that affects the family unit. I'm gonna mute. Okay, bye y'all.
All right. So one thing that I need to say before I even get into that, and if I get off track, just reel me back in. But there's this myth in society that we're supposed to be happy. It's a myth. Let me tell you something if you don't know this already. Life, listen now. Life is suffering. Prove me wrong. If you're 30 plus years old, you know that the majority of your life you've been struggling, you've been suffering, you've been experiencing pain with small pockets of joy. You can count on your hands the most important part or the happiest times of your life. So, but there's majority of it is pain. When you ran track in school, Tanisha, the majority of that was pain. The race was only a few seconds long. So no matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish, pain, suffering, struggle is what it is. So when we get this myth in our head that we're supposed to be happy, so we come into situations with the wrong mentality, thinking that this is going to make me happy. Oh, he's this, he's that. Oh my God. Or the guy. Oh my God, she's this, she's that. Oh, she makes me feel good. She completes me. She's this, she's that. And you go in with this mystical fairy tale thing going on, which you don't understand that it's going to be pain. It's going to be struggle. Now, this is the problem. And I don't want to go too far, but I need to make this point. I haven't spoken about stuff like this in so long. I've been on some business stuff for a long time, and now I get to talk about some real stuff. But anyway, so the thing is this. So what do? We search for happiness. Some people go to the club every week. They get that drink, they get that elixir, they get that attention, they get that vibe, they get that feeling to be happy. But it's fleeting. It's not sustainable. It goes away. And that's what happens in every day. Let me tell you what real happiness is. And this is going to her point. Real happiness is when you suffer and struggle and then you overcome. That will not flee. I'll give you an example. I'm a second-degree black belt in 3 different martial arts. Guess what? I accomplished this in a relatively short period of time. One of the hardest things that I ever had to do was get my first black belt. I had to fight 3 black belts at the same time. And I've never been more tired. I've never been in more pain. I never went through more struggle. But when I finished and they presented that to me, I knew it was worth something. Now, guess what? On the fireplace, it's my black belt. And I walk by it every day. And it reminds me of the pain. Every time I look at that, it reminds me of the pain. But the feeling of joy is not fleeing because I went through something to get it. Another example, since we're talking about the fireplace, I got some trophies up there for some bodybuilding stuff. Now, guess what? Bodybuilding is simple, is this, is that, is that. But I never did it. And when I decided to do it, those 2 months of sacrifice, struggle, and everything I went through to get on stage was tremendous. But the feeling that I got when I got on stage and did my thing, I'll never forget that. I'll look at that trophy, those trophies, 6 of them, by the way, and I'll say, wow, I know what it took to get that. So that's my point with happiness. Now, to her point, is when we're talking about what's going on in society, listen, fellas, number one, the only reason I'm talking about these things is because it's a mentality. It's a mindset. The mindset is that you got to be willing to go through something. And as a man, we're built for it. Trust me. We're built for it. That's what we do. And that's what you're supposed to do. Any real man, any real leader, anybody who wants to be the top, they have to have this thing in them where they're willing to go through whatever it takes to get stuff done. And that's including dealing with your family. So what I mean by that is this. Any man is talking this 50-50 bullshit. And I don't know if you could cuss on this, but it's bullshit. That 50-50 bullshit means that you're not prepared to take on the complete financial responsibility for your family. You're looking for a woman to come and help step in and help you do your part and still do her part. Now remember, the number one reason the woman is in this thing, you're in this with a woman, is to produce a seed and raise that seed in the perfect image of you. That is a responsibility all to herself. So now this woman has to sit back and watch you, whoever you are. And if you don't know who you are, what image is she raising that child in? And if she has to go, watch this, you're not going to like this, fellas. You're not going to like it. If she has to go and be submissive to another man all day, that's not your wife. That's your wife's.
Oh my God, you're so crazy.
My wife has never worked for a man. My wife had the choice day one that she has a choice to work and under certain conditions. Man has ever been her boss telling her what to do. I bought her a business so she can do what she wanted to do. And if I wasn't in position, she worked for other women in a cushy field that she didn't have the stress. So men, get your stuff together. If you can't come into it with that mentality, I'm not farming my wife off to get chased around the office by some other dude that's paying her. So when she get home, she don't want to listen to me. I know you don't want to. I know it's unpopular. But guess what? The secretary, she get chased around. Trust me. And you're sending your woman out to do these jobs that other men, other rich white men that own these companies, and she's watching them drive around in the Porsche, do all this stuff, wear these suits, and she got to come home to you. Come on now. You're not ready. You're not ready for this, bro. Get your shit together. You're not ready. So you got to have this in mind, understand that this is what's happening. And what's happening, she's being rebellious to you. Why? Because the person that's telling her what to do is providing for her. And she's providing for you. You didn't think I was going to go this far, huh?
Oh my God, you wildin'. I know. I think you do be going far though. I'm not necessarily surprised, but, you know, we on the same page because remember, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted to say. Like, ladies, remember that I said this. That if a man needs your help, you can only respect a man to the level of which you respect him before you're married. It will never get better after you're married. That's not how we work. We will only respect you. If I met my husband, I had no respect for him. I'm talking to him any kind of way. He need my help. He need this from me. He need that from me. When we get married, I'm only going to get worse. It's not, it doesn't grow from there. Natima said, I almost threw my damn phone. I'm surprised you didn't say your shoe because that's normally what you be trying to throw is your shoe. But wait, hold on. Sis, your husband about to owe me a new phone. Listen, that fit. I mean, I didn't expect you to go that sick, babe, but I'm glad that you did because this is what we need to hear. You do get chased around the office. Yeah, I don't know. I used to work for my husband. He ain't chased me around, but you know, he wasn't chasing me, but you know, there's some
it was
stuff going on.
it was a small space, so she couldn't run.
It was some stuff going on. All right. Yes, you in the chat today. Hey, Kima, how you doing? I'm so glad that you could join us today. So, babe, talk about when a man, how he vets the wife. When a man meets the wife, and or she's not a wife yet, he meets the girl. Talk about that. Talk about what traits he should be seeing in that, because you know I always talk about if a man sees a woman and she's unteachable, uncooperative, uncollaborative, then he needs to dead her then, because she's not going to get better.
All right, well, I'm gonna give you. Let me give it to you like this, and you know this. This is funny. This is for the women or for the men, whichever. So when I go to the doctor, they always ask you to fill out a form. And they ask you, what are you allergic to? And the two things that I say I'm allergic to is broke niggas and bitches with bad attitudes. I put it on every form, right? So my point is this right here. The attitude of a woman is the number one thing that I'm looking for, because I am opposed to a woman with a bad attitude, complaining about everything. Nothing's ever right. You can't complain. You can't. No, you can't. You can't please women nowadays because they always want something more than what you can do. Now again, what I'm looking for is a woman that is teachable. And I know that, oh, what you mean teachable? Listen, bottom line, if you're of the Christian faith or you have some type of biblical understanding, you know that when a man or when a woman is getting married, the father of that woman is passing the authority from his house to that man, and she is now under his authority. And for a woman that's never had a father, that's going to be a problem for her. Why? Because she's been in survival mode her whole life. She's been struggling to fight with the mechanic and deal with the UI and deal with the kids at school and do all these different things. And now you're coming in and wanting her to do it for you too. It's not going to work. So her attitude has to be as such. Now, let me just touch the men real quick. I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget this. And I want to go back just a little bit. If you're looking for a woman, okay, all right, I'm going to bring it in like this. Women, we are not looking for your job. We're not looking for your education. We're not looking for anything you accomplish, your certificates, your achievements, your 15th place ribbons that you won in school. We're not looking for none of those things. And the guy that is looking for that, he's looking for a mother. He's looking for somebody to take care of him. Now, do you want a husband or do you want a grown boy living in your house? That's the difference. A man, a real man, because there's males and there's men. And guess what? This is what I do. All right. So I know men. This is what I do. So at the end of the day, if a man wants to go 50-50 with you, well, he might as well go live with his mother and pay half of her bills. There's no reason for him to be in a relationship. You might as well be the grown 30-plus-year-old dude on the couch living with your mother. Help her out. Because a woman, she's looking for somebody to lead her that's going somewhere. So the question was, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a woman that's ready to be led. I'm looking for a woman that has the mindset and understands who I am. I'm looking for a woman who realizes who I am and what I've done and say, you know what, I'm with that. I'm looking for a woman that I don't got to try to impress. She understands what it is. When I met my wife, she knew what it was day one. I didn't have to go, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. She saw what it was because I didn't have to talk about it. Listen, I tell you this right here. If you're good at something, you tell everybody. But if you're great, they'll tell you. And I don't have to talk for myself because my resume spoke for that. And when you're that type of guy, but see, the problem is it's all messed up because women, you decided that you wanted to be the boss. And so in order for us to get at you, we had to tone this whole masculine thing that's going on right here. We had to tone this down in order to just have a conversation. And then eventually the energies kind of met in the middle. And we're less masculine and you're less feminine, and you're more masculine and we're more feminine. Not me, of course. Oh, but let me just tell you, I tried it. I tried it, but it didn't work. So let me just tell you this, men. There's three phases in a man's life, right? One, most men are raised by women, and the high authorities in their life as a child are all women. Their mother, their father's there, but they look up to their mother. The mother's the one nurturing them to be emotional and all those different things. She's the one that's coddling them, making sure that they're good, feeding them. That's the mother's job. Then he goes to school. Then the teachers, 90% of them all female. So then they're respecting females all day. So when that man, that boy, goes into the dating world, he's taught to respect women. He's taught to be chivalrous. He's taught to give flowers and open the doors. He's taught all these things, but then he has a rude awakening when you women end up being savages like you are. And that young man doesn't have a chance in the dating market as a 16, 17 year. He's gonna get his heart broken. And how many times is he going to get his heart broken when he realizes the nicer he is to the woman, the more she takes advantage of him. And then he sees the guy that's selling drugs with his pants hanging down, smashing all the chicks. So what do you think he's going to do? He's going to adjust. And now you just turn a good man into a savage. And that's what I became. My first few relationships, they cheated on me. I'm trying to be the nicest guy. I'm this, I'm that. Oh, they cheated like crazy. Like, oh man, this is what it is. So I adjust. I said, okay, well, guess what? Feelings don't have nothing to do with it at this point. I'm doing what I do. I'm a savage. Now, that phase works. And it works for a lot of men. Some men get too comfortable in it. And that's that 25 to 30, 35 maybe. That's where you at. But then in that time, you're working on yourself, man. You're working on your career. Your purpose becomes your religion. Oh, is that blasphemy? No, think about it. Jesus, if you're in the Bible, Jesus' purpose was his religion. His purpose was to die, and it became a religion. We just so happened to be believing in his religion rather than our own religion. Our own religion is our purpose as a man. Oh, that's going to go by a bunch of people. It's going to go right over your head. But listen what I'm saying. Our religion, the word religion means to do something consistently, faithfully. That's what it means. So the Bible also said, and I'm not going to go back into the Bible thing, but guess what? The Bible says a man without discipline is like a city without walls. A city without walls has no boundaries, meaning that anything could come in and anything could go out. And that he has no discipline. Without that discipline, he'll never succeed. All right? Go ahead, Tanisha. I know I'm going on, but I could go. Go ahead.
Oh no, listen, I'm listening. I feel like I'm in church. I'm like, what collection for that thing? Because I'm gonna give you some money or something. Ain't no money, but you know. But this it's I'm listening because this is actually really good, and you're actually touching on every single thing that I wanted us to talk about because this is what the men need to hear. Like I go hard on the women. They all know it. They all know that I get us all the way together. But men need somebody that's going to get them all the way together. And then you got the women that's in here that are really trying to go off and work on themselves and do the best that they can. And then they're out here with the guys that are not doing the evolution. They're not growing. They don't have anything. They don't have a purpose. They don't have anything that they're working toward. Women, remember I tell them that I tell you guys that the men are the builders and the developers of this world. Now we have gone off and said, okay, well, we don't need them. We've gotten independent. We've gotten whatever. It is a cycle. What he's saying, essentially, he's always talking about this is that everything is deeper than what it looks like. There's a cycle. Remember yesterday, it wasn't yesterday, it was Monday when I was saying that we took on another woman's plight with the feminist movement. Our husbands weren't beating us. Our husbands weren't mistreating us. Our husbands weren't savages and barbaric to us. And then we jumped on their bandwagon. And most that black man was doing was a little bit of cheating. And cheating, I said, it was around in the beginning of time. It's going to always be around. But we were not being abused. We were not being beaten. And then we said, we're going to get on this feminist movement and we don't need men anymore. But at day's end, we all need them. Remember, I said men in our life provide rest and relaxation for us. And that's just what it is. This is so good to me because I really think men need to really step back on their throne. Remember the Lion King? He was supposed to like he was out there playing with them, that little rat and that pig or whatever it was, and he was supposed to be on his throne. And men are not doing that. They're dating women that are unteachable, uncoachable, and they're just falling in with them. They're letting the women lead the households. They're letting the women raise the sons. They're I mean, listen, y'all know I was coaching somebody today and I was telling them, I said, listen, we need to allow the men to do what they need to do to bring us and lead the family where it needs to go. And I said, I don't understand why we have such a problem with that because the vulnerability is lacking based on fear. I said, we need to be having the men in the home almost like the king of the home. The almost having that family like you did when there was a father in the house. Yes, Makima, we want the male leaders back, period. Yes, we do. See, I knew it was some of us still out there because nobody wants to settle for that anymore. But women, we have to adjust because remember, y'all, last week I said men are still the same. Women have been doing all this evolving and changing, and I'm independent and I'm doing this. And the one thing that has not changed and has stayed the same is men. They are the same primally years ago and today. They have just adjusted and adapted to us. We want to lead with our degree. Ladies, you know, we're going to die, and on our tombstone, it's going to say, well, not mine, but it'll say Tanisha Dawson, APRN. Because it's not going to say family with kids at this point. Because we're choosing working independence and careers over the gifts that we have as women. I refuse to replace my gift as a woman with a degree. There is not that degree has nothing on the gift that a woman can bring to a man and a child's life. Hold on, we have a lot of comments. Oh my God. As strong-willed as I am, I can adjust quick with the right man. You know what? It seems that when they are right, yes, you can. But whoa, say something. Go ahead.
Me?
Go ahead, babe.
I want to. Yeah. So let me just say, kudos to the person who made that comment. I don't know you. I don't know what your situation is, but there's a fallacy in that statement, and that fallacy is that I can do this with the right man. No, it don't work like that. It just don't work like that. Either you are or you not. See, you have to be willing to do it, whether it's the right man or not, because that's who you are. So let me take it off the women, because I know we can't criticize the black women because it's just this whole high and no everybody try to do that. But let me just put it on. That's like a man saying, "Well, I ain't spending no money on no chick unless she the right one." Okay, well, guess what? If you find the right one, then you start to spend money. But guess what? You have to be who you are in order to find the right one. It has to be a part of you. So you can't just be this way and then you find the right one. You're not going to find the right one. He's going to find you, and it's based on your actions. So you can't wait until you find the right one, because he will already have found you in the state that you are, that you won't be able to change it to be the right one, if that makes sense. So that's a little fallacy in that statement. You got to be who you are. Like when I met my wife, I was who I was. When she met me, she was who she was. It didn't go, oh, well, I'm waiting for. Guess what? She was the way she was to her husband before me that didn't deserve it. And that's why she was able to get a man like me, because she had showed that before, even if it was the wrong person. Look, I've spent money on chicks, the wrong chicks, real money. Real money on the wrong chicks. But guess what? When I got the right one, it's just that much easier to do it because I did it already. Because that's who I am. Listen, it's about a mentality, it's about a mindset. You can't turn it on, turn it off. It's either who you are. And I'm gonna go back to the men. I'm gonna say this. Men, you have to get to the point where you just say, this is who I am, this is what I do, period. And you have to end that with a period or exclamation mark, because at the end of the day, if it's a comma, somebody can come and add on to who you are and what you do. No one's adding on to who I am and what I do. I am who I am, and this is what I do. Period. And take it or leave it mentality comes with that, man. It comes with that. And who vibes with that? Who takes this energy in? They can rock with me. Who can't? Hey, look, I'm not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. You know what I'm saying? I want the person that I don't have to apologize to be who I am. I don't have to calm down and relax. I want to be able to be who I am. And guess what? My wife didn't understand a lot of my traits, but as time went on, she understood why I'm that way. She understood my background. She understood why I'm so vicious when it comes to certain things, why I'm so assertive when it comes to things. I grew up in a war zone. I didn't grow up in no cushy little, I grew up in the hood, and I had to be a certain way in order to even be here today. So there's some trauma, no different than the trauma that a woman has. So a man takes on trauma, but it's not, his trauma is held in internally. And you don't understand it, and he don't understand it in most cases. That's why I suggest that women, if you're looking for a husband, you want to look up. I see a brother. What's up, bro? Listen, you're looking for a man, you want to look up, all right? You don't want to look parallel. You don't want to look around. You want to look up. Why? Because there's a stronger chance that man has evolved to that next level that I talked about. The first level is being the little boy that's getting cheated on, the nice guy that finished last. The second level is being a savage, being a jerk, being an asshole, getting one, smashing chicks, doing what he do. The third level is a combination of both. Realizing you can't live that life your whole life and it's empty. It doesn't really mean anything. So then you go back to where you were in the beginning, where you understood the woman and you took the time. With the understanding is this. Brother, this is for you, brother. I love to have you, but I don't need you. That's how you're able to add that in. I love to have you, and I'll give you the flowers, and I'll take you on a date, and I'll do all this stuff. But the moment you don't fit in my program, it's okay, man. It's fine. You don't gotta listen. You don't gotta do nothing. Well, what you want me to do? I don't want you to do a damn thing. I want you to do what you want to do. And if that works for you, it's best for me. That's how we change over. Because we could go from being too nice, which we finished last, or being a savage where we don't get what we really want. But then we have to have that balance. I love to have you, but I don't need you. That's the key. And the only way you could do that, man, if you really don't need her. You don't need a woman to save you, gentlemen. That's what we're doing. When we're talking about that 50-50, we're bringing women on to save us. Gentlemen, nobody in the world knows how hard it is more than me. It's difficult. There's so many substitution or I can't say the word, but there's so many things that the woman can go to places and get help, subsidized. So many subsidized for women, and then there's none for men. How many men you know on Section 8? How many men gonna stay online and get food stamps and stuff like that? Not many. How many men got all kinds of housing benefits and this and that? There's not many. So it's hard for a man. And so as I said to my wife one day, I said, the problem is when a man comes into a situation that a woman has some type of success, he sees it as an opportunity as, I can rest. I don't have to have this burden every single day of my life. I don't have to go and struggle and fight. And every time, there was times I would go out the house and risk my life just to bring food on the table. There was times I would go out and risk my freedom just to make sure my family was straight. And I was willing to do the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it didn't matter to me. That's the plight of a man. That's what we got to go through. There's no women that's going out doing that. There's no women going out to risk their life. In most cases, they're not. But this is what we have. So that when we find a woman that has a situation already built, sometimes we just go, and we get comfortable. And then we say, this is an opportunity for me to just chill. But then it's fine for a woman because she's like, oh yeah, let's do it. It's cool, it's cool. She got a man around, but then all of a sudden she realized you're not operating your purpose. She realized that you're not that nigga no more. She realized you're not the dude that she met that was getting it, that was doing what he was doing. You were just the guy watching Sports Center and sitting on the couch. She realized that you're not the, and she becomes resentful. And then she starts to resent you, and then you're no longer the person that she thought you was. So that's important, man. That's why it's so important to be always chasing something. Your number one priority is your vision, your goal. It is not your wife. Women, I know you don't want to hear that, but it's not. It's not. It's just not. It can't be. Because the minute you make your woman your priority, she loses all respect for you. Done deal. My priority is going out there kicking ass and taking names and coming back with the spoils. Boom. There you go, baby girl. This is what I did. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And let me tell you something. And I'm gonna give it back to her, but this is important. If you don't know this might be a harsh truth for you gentlemen, but men keep score. And you know what we do? How we keep score? We keep score by how much money you make or how successful you are and how bad your bitch is. That's how we keep score. So let me explain that to you. Now, it's not about the money. Money is only the way that we keep score, but how successful you are. And how successful you are is and that will also determine what type of woman you got. You get to pick the best of the best when you raise yourself to a certain level. So don't be so quick to just jump on a woman because she got a situation for you. Nah, that's not gonna last. Be quick to get yourself together mentally. Have something to teach. Have something to tell her. Have something to enrich her. I used to say all the time, yo, you mess with me, you're gonna hear things you never heard, see things you never saw, feel things you never felt, and go places you never been. That's what I promise. Have I been held true to that promise? Have I
Yeah.
held true? Okay, all right, that's what I'm saying. So I don't gotta talk about this, but I'm gonna pass it over because I could go on and on and on.
I love it. I love it. Guys, I can see through the chat and the views that are going up that you guys are sharing it. And I am so very appreciative of this. I know there's going to be tons of people that watch this replay. And I know Johanna is over here taking notes because she's about to be up here quoting you on Facebook. I already know because I know her. But Natima, I'm so glad that this is resonating with you, sis. I'm so glad we with you where we are like here in this together. So I'm so glad that this was able to help so many people. Boss God, we are glad that you have joined the chat because we have a brother in here with us that is obviously resonating with the content. So guys, I'm sitting here listening. Y'all know I normally be doing most of the talking, right? And I'm sitting here quiet because I'm in here listening and taking notes because this is so good to me. And honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't really have that much to add because again, I don't talk to men. I feel like men need to talk to men. I talk to women and they know how I get down when I talk to them. And you're repeating almost 100% of everything I said. Ladies, what have I always said? You will essentially always be a side chick to his purpose. Always. And you want that. Remember how I explained as a woman that it feels good for a moment. See, we all have, Tim, I think you mentioned it, we all have those moments of rest. Like, so when a guy meets a woman, he finally gets that position of rest. He's like, whew, I could rest. And then women, when we finally get the guy that's in the house all the time, we're like, whew, he loved me so much. He's in the house. But we both resent those positions. After some time, as a woman with a man and his butt is the imprint is in the chair and all he's doing is watching TV, I know for me, I know, and I'm going to be 100% transparent. The one thing that is very attractive to me in him as a man is his journey to self-development. He's always learning. And so the fact that he's always learning and always building himself says that he will always have information to give me. If I came home and every day he was playing video games and every day he was watching sports and babe, look at this shot. I don't care. What are we doing? What is the vision for this family? Where do you want our son to go to school? What do you want him to do? What are we doing? Then that's me though. That frustrates me. I can't do it. But as a man, I have to say this from a woman's perspective. We all understand as women when men go through things, like, because the economy is different for women and men. Like you said, there's many subsidiaries. We got housing, we got food stamps, we got applications that we can submit anywhere and everywhere. We got shelters, we got giveaways. There's so much that is out here for women that's not out here for men. So yes, when they do get that moment of rest, we're not actually like, oh, now he's a bum. Like, we most women worth their weight in salt, especially if they are a committed wife, or committed girlfriend living together. We're okay with picking it up for a season, but that season can't be too long, or we're gonna lose respect. And then once we lose respect, it's hard for us to re-respect. So that is one of the biggest things for women, is that we end up losing respect, and then the guy wants like submission, he wants obedience, he wants us to do all this, and we're leading the household. It's very hard to put yourself under a vision that doesn't exist. So the man has to have some form of a vision and provision for the household. I don't know if you have anything else to add, babe. Before I get into the 5 needs that maybe you can help me, or maybe you
Right.
can help men in expressing
Well,
these different things.
just
You
go
got
ahead.
you good?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm with you.
All right. So, Johanna, is this a question? You said, so basically we have to break our lives all the way down and build them all the way back up. Essentially, babe, I don't know if you
Absolutely.
want to answer that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, that is fundamentally true because we've been lied to. We haven't been told the truth. Our understanding of what relationships are is completely wrong. We think that we're supposed to just get into marriage and live happily ever after. No, it's going to be struggle. It's going to be anything. And Johanna, if you've ever done anything of any significant achievement, you know the work. You know what it is. And that's the thing. Success is not something that we experience in one thing. Success is what it is, meaning that the same thing it requires to be successful in a job or a sport or it takes the same type of dedication and commitment in anything else that you want to be successful in. And people are not committed to that. Guess what? You want to be a professional athlete, you're going to work out every day. You're going to take shots every day. You're going to do all that every single day. Guess what? I want to be the best man I could possibly be. I want to be a great father. I want to be an amazing husband. And guess what? I have to put my shots up every day. I have to put my shots up to be a father, a great father. I have to put my shots up to be a great husband. I have to, these books right here, these are not even all my books. I got my books in storage. I've read so many books. Matter of fact, I got on a plan that I read 5 books. Excuse me, no. I read about 3 books a month for about 5 years. And that right there is breaking myself down mentally first. And then after that, when I had downtime, because I've seen success at the highest level. I'm talking about the highest level. And I've seen failure at the highest level. So it's not going to always be successful. So in life, it's always like this. It's ebb and flow. And guess what? The lower you go, it prepares you to go up just as high. So I take glory in the times that I'm down. And in the times of down, I'm reading. I'm studying. I'm up all night. Tell her, babe, look, there's been times that when I'm up, and then I see things start to change. Man, look, I'm up literally all night. All night. She couldn't take it. Like, yo, you can't. Like, come on. Like, the TV's on. I'm watching YouTube. I'm studying. I'm taking it all night. Because
come
I
on,
just can't
too
do
much,
that. But yeah.
too much.
So,
But
so the
that's true.
thing, so that's the thing. We're gonna experience that, man. We're going to. But when we do it, your attitude about what you're doing is important. Listen, I went from one industry that was booming, making millions a year, to all of a sudden, oh, this happened, gotta shut it down, gotta get rid of the big house, gotta get rid of some of these cars, gotta get rid of the penthouse in Atlanta, because it's about to happen. I see it coming. So then now what am I doing? I'm transitioning into a whole nother industry. And so I had to learn that industry in 6 to 8 months so that I can go from one thing to another. And when I say learning in 6 days, I'm talking about if there's 24 hours in a day, I spent at least 18 hours of that, focus on that for 6 straight months, nonstop, until I can quote verbatim exactly what my industry is and do what I do and go right into another industry. And there's so many times that happens in a man's life. The days of just getting a job at Pratt and Whitney or somewhere and just living off into your retirement, that's not going to happen. We have to be willing to adjust, to change, and continue to learn. And that's what a woman is looking for. Somebody who's not afraid to learn new things. Somebody who's going out for the challenge. Listen, especially if you're young. I'm an older man now. But when in my younger days, I took the risk. I took a bunch of risks. As I mentioned earlier, there's times that I would leave the house and there's no telling whether I was going to come back or not. You know what I'm saying? But I had to do what I had to do. And I was willing to do that. And now I live the life that I don't have to do that anymore. Now I have the time to research and study and grow myself. And that's the part. So men, I'm going to say this and we're going to pass it on. Your first priority is to educate yourself, to get a good knowledge of who you are and how that applies in this world. The next thing is to get your money right. With that, you get your money right. And then the third thing is you want to take care of your health, man. Listen, I don't know, I don't understand this. I know this is a tip. If you work out and you're in shape, you are amongst only a small percentage of men in the world that actually work out. So that makes you 85% hotter than any other guy she's gonna run into automatically. So why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you hedge your bet and just do the work? But people don't want to do that because they don't want that work. So listen, I'm gonna say this and pass it. You want to work on your mind, work your body. Working your body is a mental exercise. You want to work your body, then work your mind. Those things change. So in order for me to if I want to heal my body, I heal my body through my mind. If I want to increase my mind, I work my body. And those are the things that men have to understand. Do it and do it while you're young. So when you go into this era, you have the wisdom to understand what that woman is going through. You have the knowledge and experience of the world to say, look, there's no situation that can happen. I can wake up in the morning and it doesn't matter what the situation is. The call can come and I'm prepared for whatever that call is, no matter what, because I've gone through the work. All right, so go ahead, Tanisha.
Well, guys, we don't want to keep you all night. So I got to get into these last 5 things. So what I've realized, I mean, babe, thank you so much. You have laid such an amazing foundation. I know that people that get this replay they're gonna be so, I don't even want to use the word blessed because I feel like I'm in church, but these are the things that they need. These are the things that we need. And ladies, I gave us the 5 top needs of men. And I want to give us the comparable because what sometimes men don't understand. Tim, remember when we went through some stuff and you was getting the ugliest version of me? Do you remember that? Yeah, I know I be telling on myself. And I
Yeah.
was, and what I realized, and what we have realized is that there are certain things that, obviously I say that women need to go first. Like Kima, I love that you were so transparent. And I even love your response. Like, I totally understand because what he said was absolutely 100% correct. We as women, see, here's the thing. The masculine doesn't want to have to prove who or what he is. He just is. It's never going to have to be proven. You are supposed to put him where he's supposed to go until he does something to kick himself off this pedestal. But the masculine is never going to have to want to prove who and what he is to you before you decide to offer what a feminine woman is supposed to offer. We can't say as women, well, if he's showing proof, then I give it to him. He's gone by then. He don't have time for that. You got to realize and recognize what it is then. And even if it's not right then, us as women, remember I said, we don't have power to change men. We only have power to walk away from situations that don't serve us. That's it. You can't try to change him. You can't try to make him something he's not. If he falls off the pedestal as the masculine that you gave respect and honor to, even when it doesn't have to be earned. We think that respect has to be earned. Respect should be freely given until they lose it. We shouldn't have to say, oh, well, prove to me that I should respect you. That sounds weird. and rebellious. It's like saying not saying a man is a parent, but it's like saying to a parent, you grow up. Why should I respect you? You respect me based on my position. That's it. So if you gave that man position, which is what I talked about on Monday, if he wasn't deserving of the position, you should have never gave it to him. And when I say gave it to him, you should have never allowed him to have it in your life. But once he has the position, you have to treat the position as such.
Can I say something, Tanisha?
I'm mute. Go on.
Oh man. So women, it's really up to you. It's your choices. That's the thing. Women make bad choices. Men do too, but women, you guys make the worst choices. You'll give up the cat and then say that you don't respect the guy. Well, you should have thought about that before you gave it up. Why'd you give it to him? Listen, I got a saying. I got a saying. I know I go hard, but broke niggas don't deserve pussy. And that's the problem. Y'all giving it up to these dudes that don't deserve it. So then you're bringing your value down. And then when you run into somebody who does deserve it, you're asking him to pay a bigger price than the guy you gave it to that didn't even pay. Make it make sense to me. You got two baby daddies and you calling them bums, and now you trying to get with a dude that's on point, those guys didn't put a ring on your finger. Those guys didn't do nothing, but you made two bad decisions consecutively. Now all of a sudden you want to be a tough guy when it comes to the guy. Oh, I'm gonna hold up. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. You can't make bad decisions and compound it by making more bad decisions. See, what she said is this right here. If you know, you know. She knew day one. She knew before I knew. She knew. So I didn't have to, it was nothing I had to do. You gotta know. And I don't know how she knew, but all I could do is be who I am. And I didn't have, there was nothing about me that she found out later that she was surprised. Like, oh shoot, I didn't know. Because I was able to articulate who I am, what I do, period, consistently. This is what I do. This is what I'm about. I had the hard conversations day one. I'm not afraid, because if she's like, I don't know if I could do with that, okay. And that's the problem with men. You're hiding who you are because you don't want her to run. You don't want her to leave. Listen, guys, you're not gonna catch everything. Some things don't work. It's fine. There's enough out there that you'll be fine. And women, you have to know what you're looking for. You have to look at this man and say, is this the man that I can lead? Or better yet, is this the man I want my son to grow up to be? And if you can answer that question no, then why are you opening up to that guy? And if you can't answer that question, then it's too soon to open up to that guy. It's really that simple. How are you gonna be with somebody that you don't respect them? He gotta earn my respect. I don't gotta earn nothing from you. You gotta earn my time. You gotta earn my attention. You gotta earn my non-sexual attention. I have to be able to look at you and say, you know what? This is somebody that I'll feel comfortable being around, giving up my time because I'm taking time away from my purpose to spend with you to see if I'm even interested. But you're trying to play this game after you done fumbled the ball 2 times before. It don't work. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, see, I see you came and you definitely chose violence. You did not tell me that you was going to come up here wilding. But listen, I'm here for it. So, guys, I don't want to keep y'all late because you know how we do. I feel like y'all attention span start to go. But after all of these things, we realize that, remember, I know this is heavy. I know this is what the comments are saying. It's heavy. Makima, I totally understand what you're saying. I get it. Because it's the same with me. So, we went into the 5 needs of men, ladies. And I went in. I said that the man's number one need is respect. He views respect and love synonymously. If you cannot respect him, he does not feel loved. Okay? So that was men's number one need. So now I am going to do the opposite for women. A woman's number one need is love and adoration. So if a man is with a woman and he's married to her, with her, date mate. I don't know. I don't like to use the word dating. I kind of feel like Joanne, it is what we needed. Yes, we thank him. Um, I don't want to say, I don't like to use the word dating because I do feel like sometimes dating is just a little bit vague. But if you are with a person, you are married to them, living with them, committed relationship, moving forward with them, your woman's number one need, no matter what, is going to be love and adoration. So the same way that men need respect, like the air that they breathe, women need, desire, and require love like the air that they breathe. We are like a flower. If we do not feel loved, we will wilt. It's like being out in the scorching sun with no water. And there's really no getting around it. So let's just say, I know you guys, yeah, courting, right? I know you guys don't, I don't like to push the Bible on people, but remember, even let's say Adam and Eve, it was a parable, right? Let's just say it was a fairy tale. Either way, we learn from it all. So Adam, the first thing he heard when he woke up was, Adam, I need you to do A, B, C, D, and E. You got to name all these animals. You got to do this. This is the New Living Tanisha translation. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to work. You got to have dominion over all of this stuff. So that's what Adam heard. The first thing Adam heard when he woke up was work. Well, the woman heard when she first woke up was Adam speaking to her saying, oh my God, my milk of magnesia. Girl, you are bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. He looked upon it and it was good. The moment she woke up, she felt and saw adoration. Men heard work, she saw adoration, which was why, again, remember I said, as women and men, we like to try to make our things equal that are not equal. Yeah, we like respect as women, we like it, but we don't need it. It's cool. But what we do need is love and adoration. So, this is how it can be translated for us as women. One, speaking highly of her in front of others. Like we as women love that. If Now, Lord, women, you got to be worthy to be spoken highly of, though. Okay? So, this is what we desire and this is what we be wanting, but then we don't want to do the work to get it. So, we love when our men speak highly of us in front of others, but you got to be a woman worth being spoken highly of. Now, I went in on that, so I'm not going to get on us any further. But again, y'all know what I'm talking about. As men, be involved in the things that are important to her sometimes. I know my husband took me to it was a Valentine's Day and he took me to like this dance thing with the Asians. It was like it was banned in their country. It's so Shenyun. That's where we went. I love dancing. Like it is such a big part of who I am and what I love to do, what I love to watch. I know he don't care nothing about those little tiny Asian women dancing. Like I know he could have cared less. Like he probably could have done without it. But men, these things are the things that kind of make us feel like, oh, like we know that that's a sacrifice for you. Because you got to, again, take time away from your purpose, take time away from things that you could be doing that could be productive and fulfilling for the family. The next one is making her and your marriage a priority. And keeping your commitments to her. Man, if you want our respect, there is one thing that we cannot detest more is making a commitment or saying you're going to do something and you don't do it. Because then we can't trust you. We don't know to believe you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this. Oh, yeah, I got you. I'm going to take you. And then you don't. I remember one time, I be telling, babe, I'm sorry. I be telling on us all the time because that's how I be teaching at school. But I remember one time we had an argument. We was so mad. Well, I was mad at him. I didn't want to talk to him no more. But then he had made a promise. Like he had said that he was going to take me. I had to go somewhere really far for business. And he had to, I don't like driving and I'm not even good at it like that. So I don't want to drive. And so the next day, I'm not expecting to hear from him at all because I was like, this we're not even right. And he called me and was like, I'm still taking you to the thing, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess if that he's like, yeah, well, I'm a man of my word. Now, granted, I did not necessarily want to be next to him. However, it still gave mad points in my book because he could have shied away from that situation saying, well, she ain't talking to me anyway. She mad at me anyway. I'm just going about my business and do what I need to do for me now. I'm going over here. But there was a commitment that was made and it still was honored. I still did not have to drive there. It actually gave us time together to end up talking. So, men, keep your commitments. If you say you're going to do something, the last thing that a woman wants is for you to falter in that. I know, like, Mazma has a stand. He'd be like, I come through 10 times out of 10. Is that what it is, babe? 10 times out of 10, yes. So if he says he's going to do something, he's definitely going to do it come hell or high water. I don't care what happens. He's going to make sure that he can make it happen. And if he cannot at the midnight hour, then he will come back and say, here's the thing. He don't just like leave you hanging with that, well, you said, but then you didn't do. Like, women can't deal with that. Like, you want respect, you want submission, but you cannot leave us hanging in that way. So keep the commitments that you make to her. And lastly, just involving her sometimes in your plans. Like, you want to go, play pool, involve her once in a while, bring her with you, and things like that. These are the things that make us feel loved. Okay. I don't know if there's anything that you want to add before I go to the second one, as far as like the commitments or being involved or speaking.
Well, men, you just can't put shaky on your resume. That's just important. You know, like I said it already. Check my resume. There's nothing shaky on it. There's no funny business. I go to bed every night with a clean conscience, knowing I ain't do no sucker shit to get where I'm at. And you can't. You just gotta be that kind of guy. You just gotta have principles, morals. That's why you gotta know who you are. See, if you're not, you'll compromise for any little thing. Like, I don't even remember that when she brought it up, but if I said I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. I mean, yeah, I know you mad. I'm mad too. I could have copped out or made an excuse or it had an alibi or just be. But that's corny. That's lame. Yeah, it just don't make sense. And that's the type of mentality you want to be. That guy, man. You want to be that guy. In order to be that guy, you got to get around those guys that are that guy. You got to study those guys. You got to see, okay, this is the type of guy I want to be. So you got to be around those guys and have conversations with those guys. You will not be that dude hanging around lanes. Any of your friends, listen, my people, platinum artists, producers, did songs with Michael Jackson, NFL Super Bowl winners. Like, these are the guys that I deal with. I got guys that are CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies. I got guys that's doing these are my people. I talk to literally 4 or 5 people. That's it. And they're all at a high level. I don't talk to lanes. I remember one time, I know I'm going deep, but I remember one time I was in Charlotte with one of my boys, and I'm on the phone with a worker I had. And I'm like, man, I'm mad. I'm getting all. And he was just like, yo, man. He just looked at me. He was just like, yo, I don't even know why you even associating with lanes. If you gotta do all that, then you need to get them out of your life. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you right. I'm trying to help save people. I'm trying to bring people on. Now you can't do that. And because that right there will draw on you. You gotta put yourself around the heat. So that way you get burnt, and that way you want to be more. And that's important, because if you don't have that support, this is the same way women in this group, you being around other women that want the same thing, and all the noise outside of that is telling you, nah, you don't need this, you don't need that, girl, get your own, do this and do that, and you a boss, you a diva, you a bad bitch, you this. That's some bullshit. That's going to leave you single. That's going to leave you unfulfilled. Because at the end of the day, after you get your degree, after you build your business, after you get your eyelashes and all your nails and all that stuff, and you accomplish all this stuff, you're going to be 50 years old with no kids, no family, no nothing, and you're going to be empty. You're going to be empty because your purpose is to raise other human beings. That's what your purpose is. It is an important purpose. It's not something that people think that like they just think it's corny now. What could be even more important than bringing a whole nother human being into this world? Men create skyscrapers. You create people. Think about what I'm saying. Men build skyscrapers. We do not have the ability to bring forth a human being. Yes, we're a part of it. It's our seed, but we can't do that. You have that awesome responsibility to do that. And then what you bring, you're responsible for what the world sees it as. You're responsible for that. And so all this other stuff, when you're older and you neglected that responsibility, and your son or your daughter is out on the street doing some wild stuff or contributing to what's going on in the world, you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. That's important. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to be the best father as I could be and have a father. I met my father at 23 years old, but by then I was already that dude, and I was okay with it. But the point is that I would never let my son be raised by the streets, and then one day, my son is 22 years old now. At this point, he could be doing a lot of crazy stuff, but he's in college, scholarship, play basketball, about to go get his master's. He's doing his thing. But it could have been something totally different. Every time the phone rang, I'm thinking it's my son somewhere got shot or did some stupid stuff. I couldn't live with that. So I had to buckle down and say, I had to be in a position to be the best father I could be. And it just goes with the whole program, gentlemen. You just got to just want it, bro. You got to know that you got to work for it. And it's not going to be given to you. It's not easy. But guess what? It's so fulfilling once you get it done.
You good? Done? Oh, okay. I be muted, so I can't really talk.
Yeah. You want me to go cotton?
Yeah. Yeah, right. We gotta know what you're talking about. So another need for women is security. And it's not just financial. I know a lot of us, like when we say security, every guy shy away and be like, women only want men for the bag. Sir, hush. That's not what we're talking about. We need security in general. They need to feel safe with their man, whether it is spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. So security, without security, you will not receive the best, most beautiful parts of us. Because without security, we're just out there. Without security, we're it's almost like, you know how you have a newborn baby and you swaddle them? And the reason you swaddle them is because they have a reflex that is a spastic reflex that if they're not huddled like this, they automatically go like that. So that's essentially what happens with women. When we do not feel secure, if we don't feel wrapped in the cocoon of whatever your vision, purpose, and plan or financial plan for the family is, we're always like this. It's something called, it's a something reflex. As women, I mean, you guys might know, I know some of y'all work in a hospital, but it's a something reflex that a baby has, and women have it emotionally. So without security, it will bring out the craziest, most fearful version of us. Because
it's real simple. You got your woman in survival mode. You got her cortisol levels up high consistently, not knowing whether it's going to be taken care of, not knowing whether you're going to come through, startle reflex. Yep. Not knowing whether you're going to come through, not knowing whether the bill going to get paid. You say it's going to get done, and then 9 times out of 10 it don't get done. What makes her think it's going to get done this time? And the security is, like she said, it's emotional. It's mental, and it's physical, and it's also financial. Financial security is so important. It's not about the money, but guess what? Financial security, financial freedom provides peace of mind. It provides better health care. It provides real security. You can get your family out of the hood. You can get them into a nice neighborhood. It provides educational opportunities for your kids. So now that you're able to be financially independent, you can send your kids to private school. My kids go to private school. They didn't have to go to Hill House. They didn't have to go to Troop. They didn't have to do none of those things. They went to Hampton Hall. They go to schools that they're exposed to better learning conditions. So again, security is not just money, and the money is not just for bags and Louis and all that other stuff. It's to provide a certain lifestyle that provides you to enhance whatever it is your goal is. And that's important. A woman needs that, because if not, she's in survival mode. She's always trying to figure out whether you got this or not. And again, if you've already put shaky on your resume and you haven't gotten yourself up to the point where you're really that guy and she believes that, then she's always gonna have those doubts in her head. And you gotta dispel those doubts by just being that guy who be solid. And it don't take a lot of money. It just takes being smart with the money that you have. For a long time, I didn't make a lot of money. I just didn't. I made enough money that I was smart enough with it, and I didn't go out tricking it or doing this or spending money on this and that. I had meager accommodations, as they would say it, and until I was able to build. But but a woman seeing you do that, respect comes from that. Yo, we stayed in an apartment that we had a cord to go downstairs for electricity. And then the next thing you know, we in $1 million houses with cars sitting outside. But she saw it. And I was the same guy then, talking this shit. Back then, I never changed. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be this when I get. No, I was that guy already, because I had already built my foundation of who I was. And I knew this day would come. I knew, Jay-Z said, I knew it would be like this when I was in the kitchen. If you know what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Tanisha.
Another thing too that I wanted to add to that is, as the feminine is always going to watch and test the masculine. And the one thing that I wrote that stood out is, do you fold under pressure? That a woman is always looking at whether, like, we can see, because we are intuitive and we have discernment. So we can tell when the pressure is on, but if you fold under pressure, then I'm going to fold. I say this all the time to him, that the reason that I don't ever get scared about anything is because he's never scared. He never comes to me like, yo, I'm worried because I don't think we're going to make it. Like, I've never even thought about, I could never even think about hearing him talk like that. So I'm never worried because he's never worried. He's always like, oh yeah, everything gonna be all right. Yeah, because oh yeah, this happens. Yeah, it's and then so it just causes me to be like, oh, okay. And keep going. Like, if you fold under pressure as a man, you got to understand your women and your children are watching that. Old, young, they're watching how their mom, their dad, how they're the same way that we're saying now that the woman's call is to raise and be the mom and put these children out into the world. Like, the woman, the child's first teacher is the mother, because the father's usually out working. The mother teaches emotional intelligence to the children. But if the mother is stressed out, overworked, survival mode, because survival mode kills femininity, y'all. I don't know if you remember that video I did, but survival mode kills femininity. You might as well just kill it to death. This is what we're looking for. This is what a woman's looking for, and our children are looking up to that as well. The man truly is the leader, and what we are looking to as, hey, everything good? Everything all right? Okay, if you're saying everything's all right, then everything's all right. Now, I'm going to feel like everything's all right, and I'm going to relay that everything's all right to the children.
You know what I was thinking about? So one of the problems that men have is that they talk about their issues with their wives. And it sounds like a good idea. She don't need to know. She don't even want to know. But you go home and complain about how bad it is at your job and how somebody's getting on your nerves. Now, I talk to my wife about what goes on in my company, what goes on in my business, but it's never to the point where she's worried about what the position or the status of it is. I talk about the things I overcome in my business. I talk about the conflict that I had with partners or people, and how I was able to just sit back and think and how to strategize and go about doing it. Again, showing her that no matter what happens, I'm able to deal with it. But most guys that go home, oh man, I can't stand my boss, man. He always hating on me. He do this, he do that. And what is that going to do? She's going to take on the role that you're taking on, and you're bringing that energy into your house, and she's gotta girder you up to get you out of that state. When you could just talk about, yo, look, it's tough at my job, but I got this. And that confidence is so important. Confidence is have been there before. You got enough experience. See, we're only confident in things that we know, that we understand, that we get good at. So being in stressful situations and coming up out of it. I remember one time when things wasn't going good. I remember this story. And we were in the same house we were just talking about, Woodward Avenue. And we needed to get out. We needed to go do something. And credit wasn't good, didn't have a lot of money, and she's looking for places. He's looking for places. And all I'm doing is working. Babe, just keep looking. And she got so discouraged, like, we're not gonna find nothing. We're not gonna, it was just so bad. I looked at her, I said, listen, this will work out. There is somebody that has a house that will rent to us with 1 month security, not 2, and don't need a credit check. There's somebody out there. And guess what? A week later, 2 weeks later, boom, just like that. And I often remind her of that situation and every other situation thereafter, that every time it looked bleak, it always worked out. And I was always the one that said it will work out. And that type of credibility that you get with your wife by proving to her that things will work out, your confidence and stuff, that's priceless. That's priceless. And with that, your wife will never doubt you. And if she do, something wrong with her, because I did, like I said, I delivered 10 times out of 10. There's no reason to doubt it. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have that confidence. And if you don't have that confidence, she'll never have the confidence in you. Tanisha.
Absolutely. So I'm moving on because, I'm going to keep you all night. So the next one, remember I said we had sex as the man's second need. And then we had admiration as their third. So with women, our third one is affection, non-sexual touch. So we know this is a sacrifice sometimes, but, hand holding, kissing her head, forehead, whatever. Touch that does not always lead to sex. Women need that. Massaging her feet, putting your arm around her, kissing her forehead, kissing her neck. We all talked about this on Monday. Remember when we said sex starts in the kitchen? And every woman was like, "Oh yeah, we love in the morning when he grab us and push up against us all hard in the morning." We all talked about that, saying like, "Yeah, no woman wants to because remember we talked about, I'm just gonna expose. We said withholding sex is not dope. To get what you want." So and then everybody ended up saying that, sex starts in the morning. Like sex for a woman starts in the morning. You got to get her mind thinking about it all day because we're not as visual as men are. So yeah, remember I gave the analogy of the man seeing the woman in the red dress at Home Depot. His mind will think about that 50 times during the day, but we could see a guy in basketball shorts and yeah, it was nice, but we're not going to think about that all day. And we're not even going to, but if our husband starts in the morning or our mate starts in the morning, that's going to resonate all day with us during our workday. So it's easier to be open to sex when things like that are happening. So non-sexual affection, because obviously you can, but you're getting ready to go for work, give her a nice kiss, hug, send some texts throughout the day. Women love that. Okay. And what I'm saying is outside of just a regular hug, like, you hug in the morning, you hug when you leave, you kiss in the morning, you kiss when you leave, that's regular. We're talking about just non-sexual touch. Let me rub your back. Let me do this. Let me do that. Women need things like that. Okay.
Let me ask something to put a minute. Here's a little trick. Man. The next time you hug your wife or your girlfriend, I want you to hug her and stare into her eyes as you hug her. Just look her in her eyes. It's going to seem awkward at first, but when you hug her and grab her and look her in the eyes, it's going to do something to her. It's going to do something to her. I did it to my wife a couple times, and she was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it was at a time where we were not quite as close as we could have been. And I took an initiative knowing that I needed to kind of cater to that need. That was the need that she's talking about. And guys, we're just so focused on so many things, we don't pay attention to those little things. Listen, men are simple. We don't want a lot of things. But women are, I don't want to call them simple, but they're just different in the way that they want what they want. And I'll say this to you, women, you always have to continue to do things that make it conducive to you getting what you want. And you got to know the guy. You can't, again, I have a saying that I don't negotiate with terrorists. So when you try to make me do something or this, then it's gonna be or that. It's really that simple because I'm not gonna negotiate with that. So you gotta find ways and understand the type of guy you have. And if it's the guy that you want, you gotta know you can't use those methods or those tactics in order to get what you want. You have to be open and honest in what this is and lay it out on the table and let him do that. So you want that affection from the man, say it. Or put yourself in the right light that he will want to do that. Don't have the bad attitude. Don't have the bonnet on. Don't have the different things. Don't have the. And if you don't do it after that, then you might want to nudge him a little bit. But you can't expect to get that type of stuff being disobedient. I know that's a tough word. Oh, I'm supposed to listen. Yeah, exactly. And let me just say this right here. Women, they don't understand this. 99%, 99% obedience is 100% rebellion. So what do I mean by that? When you get to pick and choose when you want to listen, that means that you're rebellion 100% of the time. Because it's easy to listen to things that's just okay with you. But if I say something that you really need to know and you don't want to listen, that's rebellion all the way. And you can't get what you want rebelling. Now, if he says something and you do it and it don't work, that is you saying, okay, well, I did it. It didn't work. Now you can go. You can say or you can make adjustments. And we're not going to be right all the time. But you chose this man. You gave him that position. So you have to let him do what he needs to do. Number one, possess the ability to allow him to be him. That is so important. All right? So go ahead, Tanisha.
That's funny because on Monday, I said it wrong because I was like, dag, I don't want to misquote him. And I said that you would say 99% loyalty is 100% disloyalty, but you just cleared it up. So thank you. Because I was like, oh, he used to say this saying, but I didn't remember exactly what it was. But all right. So our next one is communication. So women, we know, women like to talk. Now, here's the thing. We just prefer to have honest communication with our husband so that we can have a deeper understanding of who he is. So actually, a lot of men think that we don't want that, but we actually prefer that you be honest with us about who you are. And then another thing is just share with us. Like he said, he talks to me about his business all the time. He doesn't really talk to me about worrisome things, but he does talk to me about his day, his business, his plans, his visions, his goals. And this is how women begin to feel like they are a part of what's going on, like they are a part of your life. Like, if you just, it's one thing to have the movement and then she's just there and you're like, what are we doing? What's going on? It's like having a blindfold on and you're like, come on, just trust me. Come on, just trust me. But if he's communicating along the way, then as women, we feel more open and more comfortable, to this. Financial obligations, financial endeavors, even. What are the visions and the goals, And then ask her about, I know men don't always care, but ask her about her day. How was it? Because her day is going to not be nearly as eventful as your day was, normally ever, unless she's talking about your kids or the kids. But ask her about her day. Just make her feel like you're interested in the things that concern her as well. Because I already spoke to the women and said what when men need and how they need us to listen and, when they share and do these things. But now on the flip side, we need men to do the same thing as well. And you know what else we like? We like a little bit of reminiscing. Talk to us, remind us about the past, remind us about how we met. Those are the things that reactivate this heart chakra that we have that will enable us to be able to give you the things that you want and or need. Okay?
Let me just touch on two of the things you said. One, listening to her day. Men, that's a tough one. Now, it's not a day go by that I don't say, babe, how's your day? And I'm gonna be honest, I just sit there and listen because a lot of that stuff I don't care about none of it. What happens with the students at the school and some lady got a facial, but I do it every day and I ask it consistently. And guess what? I'm not saying I don't care. It's just that it's no real. You know what? Let me put it to you this way. I zone out and then I listen for the point that I can say, well, what about this? What about that? Or I have an idea to add to that. That's it. Everything else is like whatever. And the other thing is about communicating the vision. I'm going to give you an analogy or a story. You know how like the movies end with a cowboy kill all the villains and save the woman, and they ride in horseback on the back of the horse and they go into the sunset. You know that image, right? At the end of the movie, when the credits are coming, and then they're riding off to the sunset, they're gonna be happy ever after. They don't show the part after the woman that's with this dress on is on the back of a horse with no saddle, or her butt start hurting, the dust is in her hair, she's hungry, she's thirsty. They don't show that part, and then eventually she gets frustrated, and then the man has to deal with that. So what that man has to do is say, listen, I know the bugs are in your mouth and all in your hair. I know your dress is dusty, and I know we haven't drunk anything for a while. But if you just pay attention, right over that horizon is a small little town. Not too far, maybe 3-4 miles from here, a small little town. They got a bathhouse where you can take a bath, and you can get. They got lavender bath beads, and they got all these perfumes. And then there's a nice little restaurant that you can have this nice salmon and broccoli with. And then after that, they got this little band that they have in this saloon that you can see. It's like, so you have to be able to realize at what point you have to remind her where you're going, because that road gets tough. Now we get locked in. Like again, going back to the example, if I'm on the horse, she on the back. I'm trying to get there. I'm like, I'm gonna thug it out for the next 3-4 miles. But she don't have that endurance because she don't see a vision the way you see it. See, that's the difference between being a leader. If you're a leader, you have a bird's eye view or a higher view of what the vision is, and you have to articulate that vision consistently to her in order for her to be comfortable with the ride, how rough it is. And that's important. That's why I always talk to her. I talk to her consistently about, hey, look, this is happening. This was a setback, but this is going to happen, and this and that, and that, and that, and that. And that. So now she knows the vision and she's comfortable with it. So guess what? That gives you an extra 6 more months versus not saying nothing and not communicating. And then she's just like, man, this dude ain't doing nothing. Ain't nothing going on. Now she's getting worried. Now the cortisone levels are starting to spike, and she's worried about, is this going to happen, or is he doing something else? Maybe he made the plans for somebody. So you know how their minds go. It just go crazy. So you have to communicate the vision consistently and often and be able to articulate it in the right way.
That's so good. And that is so true how our minds are could just go mad far real quick. Like, whoa, wait, he ain't said nothing in a minute. So what that mean? Do that mean we have a question. It says, is it ever okay to not communicate the vision?
No, I can't see why it's not. Like, no. I mean, for no. No, it's no real reason why a man. The only reason a man won't commit, first of all, if it's a vision, it's something he wakes up in the middle of the night. He can't do nothing but share. If it's a vision, it's coming from a higher place. If it's a vision, it's motivating him. If it's a vision, it's something that he lives and sleeps and eats. He can't do nothing but talk about it. So how can he not communicate that vision unless he doesn't have one?
Oh no. Yeah. I get it though. No, seriously. And that's important for us to know what that is, and so that we can feel comfortable and safe with the vision and get acclimated. We as the woman have to become one with the vision anyway, because then that helps them to manifest the vision. So if he's not communicating the vision with us, then he's missing out on a humongous catalyst, a humongous spiritual catalyst that can help him to get what he wants. So, I think that's a team effort. Him communicating that to her and her becoming one with it. Remember, I said that women, once we get a vision in our mind, it is dog hard to get rid of it, because we are the spiritual birthers. Like the seed still gets planted in our mind and in our spirit, then we still cultivate it because we're the ones that we're going to think about it every day. And then you know what we're going to add to it that they don't add to it? We're going to add emotions to it. And emotions are what get the manifestation ball rolling. They're going to have the logical, this is what we're doing, this is what it is, this is what we want to do, and this is what it is. And you're going to add that extra little glitter sparkle on the top that adds emotion to it that helps it happen a little bit faster.
And you know what? Just think about it like this, ladies. A man can't plant a vision into background. You got bad attitude. You're not listening. You're not there. He's not gonna plant his vision in you. Why? Because it's gonna come up with thorny ground, rocky grounds. You know the parable. Some landed on rocks, some landed in authority, some land got scorched by the heat, some was on shallow ground, and that's what it is. So she is right. When a woman is open, see, a woman takes something from the man and she bring force. That's what the whole consummation of the whole relationship is. She has the ability to take something that he plants into her and manifest it. And when a man knows that he has that, he can go out and work and do what he has to do, knowing that he has you again, your role as a woman is so important. And somebody lied to you and told you that it wasn't. Somebody told you that it was more important to be a PhD and work for some other man than it is to manifest a life that you want with your husband and with your kids. Somebody told you, somebody lied to you. And that is so important to have a woman that you can bounce things off of. Have a woman that you can be excited about where you're going. Have a woman that you can plant in and she could be manifesting in the old times and have the prayer, the woman that's going to pray and hold you up. And all that stuff has been outdated, but it's still necessary right now in today's time. It is so far gone that men don't even know that we need it. But when you find it, you realize that's something that's special. To be able to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and you ain't gonna do that, this and that. Yeah, well, you always coming up with somebody. Why don't you just go work at UPS? Yo, listen, I said this when I started. I'm 47 years old and I never worked for another human being. Guess what? There's times I had to sleep in my car. There's times I had no electricity. There's times I had no heat. There's no time, but I would not go. I would not give up on my dream. And I said this to her today. I said, what if I would have gave up on my dream? I wouldn't have what I have right now. What if I would have gave up on my dream? What if I would have went back and tried to just say, well, it's not going to work, trying to be this super uber big worldwide guy that I am? That's a force. That's a pipe dream. Let me go back and just do something that I know I can do. Let me just go back to the thing that I can make some money with. Let me just go back to do this right here. And I chose not to. But the only way I was able to do that is, one, I was convicted in what my beliefs were, and she believed it because I believed it. And she never gave me resistance. So not one time did she ever say, well, you need to get a job. Not one time. I would have been out. I'm not getting no job. Never thought about it. Never. Because I knew that nobody was going to pay me what I was worth. All I was going to do is give my best skill, my best talent, my best effort to make somebody else rich. And she understood that about me. That's not everybody, but she understood that about me, and that was so important. That's what I'm talking about, being able to share that vision with her. And she has a lot to do with that coming through. She has a lot to do because she could have been negative the whole time, but she wasn't. So guys, that's so important to have that. And women, that's your job. That is one of your positions, one of your jobs, to support him in such a way. But again, men, you got to be convinced. You can't be trying to shop your demo around at 50 years old. You can't be, it can't be one of those deals. It got to be something legit. It got to be something that you worked for your whole life. You can't just decide you want to be a rapper, or you want to decide you want to go to the NBA and you 28 years old. It's too late for you. You have to have, I've been working on this since I was 15. And when she met me, this is what I'm doing. And so at the end of the day, there was never a time. Yeah, I fell back a couple of times, but there was never a time that I quit. And there was never a time that she doubted me.
Well, I had to unmute. Okay. I know that's true. I didn't ever doubt it. I didn't. And like I said, but that came from your uh, your major belief in yourself and your confidence in yourself. You can't help but to believe somebody else's confidence. I'm not gonna think you faking. Like, oh, you got it, then you got it. All right. Well, saves me from not having it. Saves me from not having to say, let me come up with the plan B, because he don't seem like he's really sold on his own idea. And as women, we could kind of see through that. We can see when you're not really sold on your own stuff. Like, you just talking, and we like, sir, you don't believe that yourself. So let me just step in here, and I'll just do it, because you don't really know what you're doing. It's something about having that level of faith, belief, and confidence in yourself that translates to us. So our last one, y'all, for the night is women, men, for us, we need approval. This is our last one. Now, women, you have to be doing something to be approved of. He does not care about your degree, your PhD, how much money you make, leading with where you went to school. I went to Yale, I went to Harvard. He does not care. And every woman that says, well, I be running guys away because they're intimidated by me. They're not intimidated. They're just not interested. They don't care. It has nothing to do with them. The only guys that care when you lead with your money are bums, men that want to live off of your money. No other man in this world cares about your little degree, or what school you went to, or how much money you actually make. So those are not the traits that he's ever going to approve of. So we want approval, but we're going about it in the wrong way. Well, I want you to, accolade me. I work like you work. I make just as much as you make. I actually make more than you. And then we want him to be like, oh yeah, cookies. And he does not care about that. He cares about how you're raising the children. He cares about your mental state. He cares about how you're presenting yourself to the world and to him. So these are the things that you want to seek approval for, all right? So a wife loves to know that she is still deemed as beautiful to her husband. A lot of times, guys, when they are with a woman for a very long time, they forget how other men see her. Like, your wife get dressed every day. Does she look good? And every day you forget to tell her that she looks nice. You forget to tell her that she looks amazing. But guess what? The guy at Walmart's going to tell her. The guy at the gas station is going to tell her. The guy at the club is going to tell her. The guy at brunch is going to tell her. She could be out with her friends. She could be out by herself. If she's beautiful, somebody's going to tell her. And if she's starved for love, adoration, and approval from her own mate, that opens her up as a weakness to the home. Because then that's going to give another man an opening to come in. Now, most women, worth their weight in salt, do not have affairs based on the fact that some guy called her beautiful. However,
Can I step into this?
oh, whoa.
So listen, this goes back to something I said earlier. You're 100% right. Most women don't do that. But there's a situation that men, I'm talking to you, you put your wife in, that make that situation way more valuable. When you send your wife to another man's business and she's working for that guy, that man is telling your wife how beautiful she is. At her job, she goes there every day. And you have to know that this is the dynamic that most men don't want to hear. But again, I am an employer. So my wife worked for me. Me as her employer, I have the ability to talk to her and be a certain way with her. I don't care what she had going on. It didn't matter. And then that's a consistent thing that I'm doing. And guess what? When she's working at that office, there's going to be doctors, there's going to be lawyers. You think she got just a little job, desk job? These are real successful men that can do things for her. And they see him doing it for the women that they're around. And they're starting to expect it from you. And if you're not the one telling her she's beautiful, I guarantee you he is. Even just the male guy at her job. When she goes out into the workforce, those men are the ones that are telling her she's beautiful every day. It's the ones that can't get her and the ones that definitely can get her. And obviously, it's up to the woman, but it's your job. Now, again, if you're not in a position that you can't give her the option to work, then you better make sure that when she leaves that house, you're her best option. You're her best option. No guy's gonna provide for her what you provide for her. And that's the secret. And it don't gotta be money. See, again, you don't have to have money to keep your wife. You just have to have the skill set to know and understand her. You provide for her what she needs, then she won't seek it for anywhere else. But if she's empty, then it just opens up the opportunity for some guy to just come in over a period of time and give her that thought. And that's what we're talking about right now. And that's important. It's not a day that I don't tell my wife that I love her, she's beautiful. It's not a day I don't grab her ass or something. It's not a day I don't rub her bosom. This because those are the things that she needs. And guess what? In order for a guy to even get to that level, it gotta be, you know what I'm saying? If she's getting that type of attention, the little high cutie or high sexy, that means nothing. It don't add up to what I'm giving her. So she leaves with that type of feeling every day, knowing that she can come back and get that. So she's never starved for that. And then that is so important. You can't neglect that. It's easy. It don't cost you nothing either.
It really don't cost anything, and that is so true because like I used to always say, like, when you're full, a feast doesn't look good, but when you're starving, even a cracker looks good. So as women, as men, you cannot place your woman in a position where she's starving for attention and affection, because any little thing will look good to her and it will always look bigger and better than what you're doing, and you don't want the comparison to start. Another thing is, as women, we are like insecure creatures, and a lot of times she likes to know why you chose her. There's so many options in this world for men and women alike, but women like to know why you chose her, why she's special to you. A woman blossoms in an atmosphere of praise and love, especially if she's working her hardest to be her best self. So this doesn't apply to everybody. You got to be working your hardest to be your best self. But she also wilts and dies in the presence of silence and criticism. So if there's no, it's one thing to be able to offer her criticism, but you're offering her loads of love and adoration as well. But to only offer silence and criticism, she is going to wilt away in that environment, and she's not going to be the woman that you fell in love with. So just continue giving her encouragement. I'm just giving you guys some ways. Give her encouragement. You know, Make sure you notice her hair or her clothes, because most times we're doing it for you. So if we change our hair, change our clothes, we are wanting a little bit of attention. Hey, babe, you changed your hair. Some guys don't notice because they're so busy. But again, that's a big deal. And value her opinions, not as wrong, but just different. We're not the same. We're not the same people. We're not the same creatures. We don't think the same and we don't act the same. But we have to value your opinions as 100% different than ours. Just value our opinions sometimes. It might be different and it may be a little unorthodox, and nobody's saying it's right. And nobody's saying you have to do it, but at least value it and say, okay, I heard you, I'm thinking on it, and not like, yeah, bye, I'm on to the next. We want to feel approval and value. Tell her when you're proud of her. Tell her when she did a good job with the kids. Tell her when the food was good. These are things that you want. These are the traits that you want us to lead with. So when we're doing them well, tell us so that we have the encouragement to continue on doing it. You say, if you tell a woman, oh my God, you did such a good job with the kids. Oh my God, you did, the food was good. All she want to do is go make some more.
I got one for you, Tanisha. And this is one that I'm gonna give you your praise for right now, live, right now. Right? I spoke. I talked to her about our son taking classes, some type of coding classes, probably about a year ago or something. I don't remember when I said, but I said it in passing. And the next thing I know, he signed up in a coding class, and I knew that she heard it from me, and she went ahead and had the initiative to do it. Now he's all excited about it. He's building video games, and he's getting certificates. And I didn't actually say it. I might have said it, but I might not have said it. But just thinking about things that a woman does that a man really appreciates. Like you said, it's not your job, it's those things right there. And I'm giving you your flowers for that right now, live. All right, because I really appreciate that. Because again, what a woman does as far as raising our children is the most important thing that they can provide for us. And let me just say this to you women. She asked the question. She said that a man has to know why a woman has to know why he chose her. And it's so important because you have to know this. And I don't want to say a real man because people be throwing that stuff out like that, but a certain kind of man. There's nothing you really can do that you can't really offer him anything. And I'm gonna preface that, but the one thing you can offer him is your best effort in the things that you do. My reward is not something physical or something material that she can give me. My reward is seeing her prosper in the things that make her who she is. My reward is seeing her on this podcast and sharing her vision, the one that she has since 2010. This is what I want to do with my life. Okay, and I've been supported. That's my reward, knowing that I had a part in that. My reward is seeing her start a business from an idea, helping her build that business and pouring into that business and seeing her prosper and seeing her get rewarded or get an award for having that type of business when nobody else did it. And in the beginning, she was worried. Well, this person got a business like that. This person's about to start a business like that. I said, don't worry about it. I said, you're far ahead of them. What you have done in your whole life has built you, prepared you for this moment right here. They got to catch up with you. You're so far ahead, we don't even know who second place is. Don't worry about it. But then what about this? What about that? Don't worry about it. Trust me, you'll be fine. Nobody can do what you do. They're only doing it because there was something called first to market. MySpace was first. There was somebody doing it first. But Facebook came with the right technique and with the right thing, and they blew it out of the water. And we don't even remember who MySpace is, and we don't remember who the first person who did that type of business. Nobody knows. If you ask who's the first, you are the brand for that. That's the reward, to see that type of thing. And those are the things that you're proud of. Those are the things that you say, I'm proud of you for. Those are the things. And then not just her struggling and doing it on her own. No, having a support and saying, look, first few months, don't worry about it. It's taken care of. Now you can go in there and enjoy yourself and make the place beautiful and buy the candles and do all the stuff and have the way. But it's important because those are the things that we're proud of. I don't get a benefit that most guys try to get from a woman. I get the benefit of her being happy, her smiling, her seeing the family comfortable and safe. That is my benefit. And that's where men have to be at in this. We're not supposed to get certain things out of these relationships. Being happy is not the thing. You know, a woman being our peace, a woman helping us to be a better man. And, oh, I love her because she helped me be a better man. That's bull. That's crap. If you wasn't that before, then you didn't deserve her in the first place. We gotta stop. We gotta leave these things out of our conversations. Oh, she made me a better me. She fulfills me. She completes me. No, she don't complete me. She don't complete me. I'm complete. I was complete before I met her. And she was complete. And if she wasn't complete, I added to make her complete. I don't complete her, but I gave her the tools that she could be completed. And now we're both two whole people in a relationship. And that's the problem. You're bringing half peoples into a relationship. You're bringing people that's not complete into a relationship, and you don't even make a whole person. So that's a problem. So we got to take these terminologies out of our language. Where she's my piece, and I'm talking to you men. We say it all the time. It sounds good, and they like to hear it. But no, she's not my piece. I am peace on the inside. You know why? Because there's nothing that can happen to me that I'm not prepared for. That's my peace. My peace is my experience. My peace is that I've been through the war already, and everything else after that is easy. That's my peace. You know what I'm saying? And then I provide that peace and I cover her with that peace. So she look at how peaceful I am and she don't worry. And that becomes her peace. So with that being said, I know we going on and on, but
I just wanna add to that really quick. You said that, and I know that's a cliche, and I got a lot of backlash for this. But ladies, I don't believe that a woman's supposed to be a man's peace. I believe that he is supposed to be already peace, or we're just not supposed to do anything to take away from that peace.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not adding peace to him, but I'm also not going to be the agitation that caused him peace. Look, at 2017, I was an agitation. He got some gray hairs now. He would not let me forget that those couple gray hairs that he got came from me. But we are
Didn't have
not.
one gray hair. Didn't have one gray hair. And all of a sudden, they just start coming.
Oh, stop. But we're not supposed to be the ones to take away from that. Remember, I talked about us being nags, hags, and drags, okay? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to come home to that. Remember I gave y'all the analogy, my 22-year-old son was like, yo, I work all day. I come home 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I'm just trying to eat. And then I come into an attitude about something stupid. That's a 22-year-old saying that. So there's not no grown 46, 47-year-old man that wants to deal with coming in the house after fighting a war outside in the streets all day long, and then he come home to your chaos and your complaining and your bad attitude. Nobody wants to come home to that. All right. So the last thing for the approval is just be kind to her. I know a lot of times women get busy. Men get busy and they're into their thing. They're into their work. They're into their purpose and they're just busy and we're just there. We're just like, hey. And there's times where I have to, and this is me just telling on myself, where I can tell that his mind is on work. And when I say work, it's on something that he needs to do. So now I'm going to stay out of the way until that part is over. Normally within that night or that next day, he'll end up sharing because, like he said, he doesn't share when he's in the middle of the thing. He doesn't share until it's over or it's done and he's overcome it. But we still just need you to be kind. Just remember that we're there. When we come in the house,
Hey,
smile. When we come in the house,
listen,
say hi. Yep.
this was something that I had to overcome. And look, listen, I'm not perfect, and I never act like I was perfect. We had ups and downs. We said it was a lot of stuff. I don't know what she shared or what she didn't share, but I think the biggest mistake that I made that I wasn't kind, that I wasn't. I was so hard, and because of the phase that I was coming out of, I was in a savage mode, and I was mean. I don't want to use the word mean, but I wasn't kind to her when I had my guard up and I just wouldn't open up because I was so used to being savage mode and I was so used to. But when again, no different than a woman respecting a man when she marry him. No, a man has to let down his guard when he marries her. It's the same thing. I have to open myself up to feel these emotions. I didn't want stuff for my birthday. I didn't want her doing stuff for me. I was just being just a whole way. And there was times that I did some BS that I could have possibly got away with if I would have just treated her a certain way. And I'm just saying that, take it how you want to take it. I don't know what she shared, but if I would have just been a nicer person, some of that stuff wouldn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? But I had to learn that. And that's hard sometimes because we go from being this nice, kind person to being cheated on, taken advantage, that female that just rips your heart out, to being a savage. And that transition to being an evolved man to where he can balance the two. That was a problem. And when we met, or when I was at that point where I was full mode savage, but I was looking for a wife. And the guy that she has today had to evolve. It had to evolve, and she had to be patient for this evolution. So don't think that, oh, she got, no. Now I've always been that guy, but I ain't always been this guy. You know what I'm saying? And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of me reading, a lot of studying, and me taking the time to really understand what her plights were, really listening to her. I never listened to her. It's just all these things, man. And like I said, it is a job. It is being a CEO of a corporation. And it's something that most men have the ability to do, but it's dormant because they haven't used those skill sets. And any man can do it because that's what our purpose and our vision, that's what our purpose is, basically. And we just have to harness that ability and stop being suckers and stop being soft and stop being feeding in and buying into this corny stuff that these lames is doing out here. Stop talking about I ain't spending no money to no girl, this and that. Nah, come on, man. Stop. 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 Listen, I say this all the time. I don't spend money on girls. I spend money on my lifestyle. And my woman is an accessory to my lifestyle. So she benefits from what I do for myself. I don't have to go out and try to impress her with all this stuff. No, I'm doing what I do. If we go in the Capital One Steakhouse, then that's what we do. I'm eating there with or without her. But guess what? She's with me. And I'm talking about guys that are in that process. I'm not talking about married guys. In that process, that's what you do, bro. Do what you do and give her a peek into your life. But don't do what you don't do, because then when she marry you or she get with you, she gonna be expecting you to do it. And I'll say one more thing. And this is what she said. I'm done after this. Men, I've been saying this for years. Men have built an infrastructure to get the girl. They keep the haircut, they buy the watch, they buy the chains, they buy the outfits, they get the car, they clean them, they do all these things. They build an infrastructure to get the girl, but they never build the infrastructure to keep her. That's so important. You have to build, it requires two separate skill sets. It's easy to get a girl, but it's harder to keep a woman, right? Because by the time you get her, she should be a girl. But during the remainder of your relationship, she will be a woman, right? So to get a girl is easy, but to maintain a woman requires a different set of skills. And you have to build that infrastructure out as you're moving forward. And in order to do that, you have to educate yourself. You have to add value to yourself so you'll have something to pour into her. Tanisha.
That was good, babe. That was actually really good, because that is one of the main issues, is that people, especially men, I will say this, they'll put their representative out to get the girl, and then once they get her, they can't maintain what they did to get her. Now she's like, what happened to that guy? Because that's the guy that I wanted. That's the guy that got me. That's the guy that attracted me. So that's actually really good. But basically, y'all, I am done. That was the last thing I was saying, was just create a culture of kindness for her. She should not be afraid to be in your masculine energy. As a matter of fact, your masculine energy should feel safe for her. It should make her feel cocooned and safe from the outside world or any type of danger, but it shouldn't turn into fear of you, because you might take that masculine brute like energy out on her. Now, again, we as women have to take accountability. We cannot do things that bring that out of him and then be upset once it comes out, because you know us women, we our mouths could get crazy, and then now we mad because the Hulk has come out, and now we scared. But when your woman has a general culture of a good attitude and kindness, then create that culture of kindness back in the house for her, so that she's not afraid of your masculine energy. And guys, listen, I am all done. This was Being a Husband is a High Call. Don't offer her a ring if you're not ready. All right. And babes, do you want to say anything to close it out? Because we have kept them for a little bit long tonight. Normally longer than normal, but guys, you got double the trouble today. Okay. You got double the benefit, double the blessing today. Okay. So a little bit longer. We okay with it. Go
The
ahead,
only
babe.
thing I can say is to the women, just you want your man to have a certain idea about certain things, and you want to be able to. You can't be the one that do it. It has to be something that he wants to do. And if you feel you have to do it, then you got the wrong guy. And I don't want you to go break up with your guy and all that. So it depends on
Oh,
what you
God,
have
no.
invested in. But for the most part, you really, it's the responsibility of a man taking you on as a husband, as a wife, is a responsibility that you can't get that wrong. So you have to look at the telltale signs. And I know every woman wants to be married, and sometimes they're willing to deal with certain things, but you're going to deal with things. But the principles that he lived by, his ability to articulate his vision, his ability to be comfortable with who he is, how he's respected amongst other men, what other
Yes.
men, how other men see him in society. Those are things. You don't want to be with the lame. You don't want to be with the guy that nobody respects. Oh, you with that guy? You want to be with a solid dude. You want to be with a dude that stands up to whatever challenge is, that's prepared for whatever challenge. You don't want to be with the guy that's frantic when you get frantic. You want to be with the guy that's calm and reserved because he's been there before. You don't want to be with the guy that gotta prove to everybody that he's this or that. You want to be with guys, and I'm saying this to women, this is what you're looking for, but at the same time, men, this is what you have to do. And there's no easy way to do it. My journey started 14, 15 years when I was 14 or 15. My journey started. So it's not something that happened overnight, but the easiest way to expedite that is to get around men, real men, solid men that you respect. That's the easiest way to do it. That's the quickest way to do it. You'll learn so much by doing that. And again, you can contact me, get in contact with her. Look, I do this. Trust me, I do this. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is her vision, this is her purpose, and I'm all for it. I'm with it. So if we got to come in and help the situation, that's what we do. And I'm not for everybody, but I will say this right here, and I said this to her before she did her counseling session. I said if I get somebody on a call, I'm gonna go so hard that they're gonna even question why they got on the call with me, because that's the only thing that's gonna cause you to change. If I coddle you and tell you, oh, now you can just do this and do that, and you find an easy way to make things happen, then you'll never really appreciate it and it won't last.
Nope.
You have to. The story goes like this: somebody's been smoking for 20 years, and they go to the doctor, and the doctor said, if you smoke another cigarette, you die. That is the type of pressure you have to have in order to change. If you smoke another cigarette, you die. Not, well, you could get away with smoking 1 or 2 a day, but don't smoke 3. Then you're not going to really change. It has to be that type of impact on you in order to make a change. So women, you want that type of change, you got to get your head knocked off. You got to get your head knocked off with something that you just didn't expect. And that's why I came so hard. There's no other way around it. I could just say some nice stuff, some TDJ, some Joel Osteen message, and y'all, oh, that was good. No, I'm trying to knock your head off. Once you come out of that, you go, you know what? I need to get my shit together. And for you men, the same thing. And I'm not saying I'm better than nobody like this. I've just been doing it a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate the time. I am humbled to be before these people. I haven't opened up the chat, so I don't see anybody. I'm just going from the top of my head and just trying to help as much as I possibly can, support my beautiful, lovely, inspirational, smart, intelligent wife. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to give her a hand right now, give her flowers right now. She's doing an amazing thing. And if there's anybody that got this, if this helps anybody, then again, share it, let people know. There are people out there that want change. There's men, just like you women up here, there's men out here that are trying to fight this demasculation thing and what to do and how to get over it. And they just need a voice. Not an extreme voice is telling them don't do this and don't do that to women, but a real voice is really going to knock them in the head. So that once you get knocked in the head and they get knocked in the head, then now y'all got to say, well, we got to do something. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. So I appreciate the time. I don't know if I'll ever come back. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But just know, I'm coming. I'm bringing that fire. I'm bringing that.
I don't know, man. You acted up. You came in here wilding. I hope they don't ban my video because you was. That's okay, because who need to hear it, heard it.
Yeah.
And that's what really matters. All right, y'all. You know, I just want to listen, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. And if this message meant anything to you, send it to anybody that you know and love, because if it helps you, then it could help them. I thank you guys all so much for watching, so much for supporting me. You guys know I love you guys, and thank you. This is our Good Vibe Love Tribe in here, okay? It is all about the good vibes. It is all about growth, change, and evolution, and I am so happy and honored to be a part of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have an amazing night. Bye-bye.